There's a financial alarm that's been ringing for 627 days straight. The last time it rang this long, the world entered the Great Depression. The time before that, 2008. Banks collapsed, millions lost everything. And right now, as you're listening to this, that same alarm is screaming, louder than ever before. But here's the crazy part. Nobody's listening. And that's exactly what happened every single time before the crash. Let me show you something that will change how you see the economy forever. It's called the yield curve inversion, and it's the most accurate recession predictor in history. Here's how it works in simple terms. Normally, if you lend money for 10 years, you expect more interest than if you lend it for 6 months. More time, more risk, more reward. That's just common sense. But when the yield curve inverts, everything flips backwards. Suddenly, lenders demand more interest for short-term loans than long-term ones. It's like your bank charging you more for a 3-month loan than a 30-year mortgage. It's insane. And it only happens when the smart money is absolutely terrified of what's coming next. Picture it. 1928. Jazz is everywhere. The stock market is exploding. Everyone's buying stocks on credit because stocks only go up. Sound familiar? Then the yield curve inverts, and people ignore it. It's different this time. The economy's too strong. For 2 years, stocks keep climbing. The market gains 50% after the warning appears. Everyone thinks they're a genius. Then 1929 hits. The Dow collapses 89%. Unemployment hits 25%. An entire generation is financially destroyed. That little warning signal, it was screaming the whole time. The pattern repeats. The year 2000, the internet changed everything. Tech stocks are going to the moon. The yield curve inverts. Nobody cares. Months later, the dot-com bubble explodes. Trillions evaporate overnight. Then 2006, housing prices never go down, right? The yield curve inverts again. The market rallies for another 18 months. Everything looks perfect. Then 2008 arrives like a freight train. Lehman Brothers collapses. The global financial system nearly implodes. Millions lose their homes, jobs, and retirement savings. Same warning, same ignorance, same disaster. Now, today, August 2022, the yield curve inverts again. But this time is different. Not because it won't happen, but because this inversion is deeper and longer than both 1929 and 2008 combined. It's been inverted for over 600 days. That's unprecedented in modern history. And what's happening right now? Stocks are rallying, unemployment is low. Everyone's saying, see, the indicator is broken. This time is different. That's exactly what they said in 1928. Exactly what they said in 2006. This is the calm before the storm, the false confidence right before everything breaks. So why hasn't it crashed yet? It's a great question. Back in the 1970s, recessions hit within months of an inversion. But today, even when oil prices spiked in 2022, nothing happened. Why? Because consumers were sitting on a $2.5 trillion cushion of pandemic stimulus savings. That money hid the damage happening underneath. But that cushion is gone now. Credit card debt is at an all-time high. Delinquencies are rising. Savings rates have collapsed. The shield is disappearing. And when it's gone, the real pain begins. Here's what makes this potentially worse than 1929 or 2008. The debt. In 1929, household debt was small. In 2008, it was mostly housing. But today, debt is everywhere. Mortgages, student loans, auto loans, credit cards, corporate debt, and insane government deficits. The entire global economy runs on borrowed money. And when interest rates stay high, that debt becomes a ticking bomb. A family that borrowed at 3% suddenly has to refinance at 7%. They stop spending. A business that could afford debt at low rates suddenly can't make its payments. They fire workers. A government that owes more than it earns has to print money or default. This isn't speculation, it's math. And the yield curve is showing us exactly when that math stops working. Let's talk about the silent bank run nobody seems to be discussing. Because here's something terrifying that isn't making the primetime news. Right now, as we speak, there's a bank run happening in slow motion. This isn't the black and white photo version, with people lining up outside demanding their cash. No, this one is invisible. It's happening in the digital shadows of the financial system. Since March of 2023, over $1 trillion has quietly vanished from small and regional banks. So where did it go? It flowed directly into money market funds and treasury bills. The smart money is already on the move. They aren't panicking, they're not making headlines, they are just quietly repositioning themselves before the real storm hits. It's like watching the first-class guests on the Titanic calmly walking toward the lifeboats, while everyone else is still dancing in the ballroom, convinced the music will never stop. And here's the kicker, the part that should send a chill down your spine. This silent exodus is a mirror image of what happened in the months right before 1929 and right before 2008. The insiders always know first. They don't send out a press release. They don't warn the public. They just move their money and wait. And by the time the average person finally realizes what's happening, all the lifeboats are gone. Now, I know what you're thinking, but the stock market is going up. How can we be anywhere near a crash? That's the trap. That is always the trap. In 1928, the market rose for 2 full years after the warning signal first flashed red. In 2006, stocks hit brand new highs even as the inversion deepened. The longer the delay, the bigger the crash. Because that delay creates a false hope, a dangerous euphoria. People borrow more, they invest more, they go all in, fueling the very collapse that's waiting right around the corner. We are in that trap right now, and the cracks are already forming if you know where to look. Corporate bankruptcies are ticking up. Consumer delinquencies on credit cards and auto loans are climbing. Small businesses are struggling to stay afloat. And while the headlines celebrate strong job numbers, look closer. Full-time employment is actually shrinking, while the number of part-time workers is multiplying. It's strength on paper, but weakness underneath the surface. So, what's the timeline? The 1928 inversion led to the crash 17 months later. The 2006 inversion led to the Great Collapse 16 months later. If history is any guide at all, we are in the danger zone right now. The setup is identical. Low unemployment, sky-high optimism, and a stock market that refuses to believe in gravity. Both times before, people got complacent. They thought the signal had failed because nothing happened immediately. And then the avalanche hit. But this time, the impact could be global. The entire world is more connected, more leveraged, more fragile than it has ever been. Banks, governments, corporations, they are all tied together in the same intricate web of debt. One default, one liquidity freeze, one shock to the system, and it spreads everywhere, instantly. So what do? The answer is not to panic. It's awareness. This signal, the yield curve, it doesn't tell us to be afraid. It tells us to be prepared, to see through the illusion before everyone else does. Because when the system finally breaks, the people who understood the signal will be ready. They won't be trapped in denial. What's coming isn't just another recession, it's the great unwinding. The unwinding of years of excess, of cheap debt, of false confidence. But remember this. In every collapse, there is a rebirth. The Great Depression built the modern financial system. 2008 completely reshaped global banking. Whatever comes next will do the same. Yes, it will hurt, but it will also clear away everything that was rotten. The yield curve is warning us, just like it always has. The system has gone too far. The pressure is reaching its limit.
And pretending otherwise won't change that reality. Every calm before a storm feels peaceful, right up until that first crack of thunder. And when it hits, people will say they never saw it coming, even though the signal was right there, flashing for all to see. This time, you can see it. The yield curve doesn't lie, and what's coming won't just repeat history, it may rewrite it entirely.